Luciano Spalletti is the new Juventus coach. Juventus haven't yet confirmed it as a club, but it is confirmed because Mr. Reliable, aka Fabrizio Romano, has given the here we go, pretty much. Well, he hasn't written here we go, but he said this earlier on Twitter today. Luciano Spalletti has agreed to become the new Juventus manager. The deal is in place. It's a verbal agreement until June 2026, plus option to extend based on Champions League spot to reach this season. Formal steps / contracts being checked by lawyers before signing all the documents. I also read that he's going to be present at the Juventus Udinese game tonight. That will really give the confirmation. But if he is going to be present tonight, Juventus will announce on their social media beforehand. But I wanted to make a video on it now. First thing to note, which I think is interesting, is the option to extend based on the Champions League spot. So it's not an obligation, which is important because that's something that I really, really wanted with our next coach. I didn't want it to be a long-term deal, a guarantee to have to pay them out if we need to sack them, if it doesn't work out. They're on big contracts, big wages, long amount of years. So this is interesting. Even if we were to reach the Champions League, Fabrizio's saying it's an option. We can still say, no, we don't want you if we get Champions League place, or yes, we do want to extend with you, which is important. So it's a one-year deal. Ideally what I wanted from our next coach anyway. What are my thoughts on Spalletti as Juventus manager? You guys know it wasn't my first choice. He wasn't my first choice. I celebrated when he was sacked for the national team. I thought he was really, really poor for the Italian national team. In Euros 2024, he just, for me, he didn't know his team. He didn't know his system. He was chopping and changing literally every game. He was changing the formation, changing the personnel. It didn't help at all. And then in the World Cup qualifiers, the few games that he had, it was poor. It was poor. He needed to go. So in terms of his recent form, let's say, as a coach for the national team, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't a fan of him. And obviously, guys, I know he's an Interista, he's a Napoletano, he's a Romanista. He's coached all these teams. So Roma, Napoli, Inter. He's obviously got a Napoli tattoo on his arm. It's like, obviously, as a Juventus fan, we don't like those clubs. We don't. Let's be real. In fact, we can't stand those clubs. So it's like one of their own coming to coach us is leaves a bitter taste, a sour taste in our mouths. But at the end of the day, Antonio Conte, he's a Juventino through and through, but he's coached Napoli, coached Inter, brought them success. I guess their fans, they grew to like him and tolerate him and eventually love him because he brought them success. So obviously I'm hoping Spalletti can do the same. He wasn't my first choice because for me, I said he wasn't because I thought he'd won a long contract. So I'm surprised he's accepted a one-year deal plus an option to extend. I'm surprised. That's a good thing. That was my first worry and question, let's say, I had when appointing Luciano Spalletti. But it's okay. That one, he's passed that test. My second one was I wanted a Juventus coach who had Juventus DNA. That's why I like Tudor. Matter of fact, I thought Tudor did a good job for us because he knew what it meant to be at Juventus. He cared for the club. He cared for the fans. Do you understand? He was black and white like you and I. He was a Juventino. He was a Gobbo Vero. And I wanted Palladino as that option because I think Palladino has that Juventus DNA. He played for Juventus. I thought he was a more logical, let's say, appointment. Also because I knew he would accept the one-year deal. I didn't think Spalletti would, but he has. So in hindsight, that point is kind of void at the minute. It's asinine. It's null. But I wanted Palladino as my first choice option. I'm not going to lie. And apparently reports here suggesting that according to the Repubblica, I don't know how accurate this is, Spalletti won't have an easy task, also because part of the players were hoping for Palladino to get the job. I don't know if this is true or not. I mean, I feel like, how would they even know this? What they did a questionnaire with every single Juventus player. Would you rather Palladino or Spalletti? And the majority, I don't know, 55%, 60% tick Palladino. I don't know how they got this. This is probably rubbish. But Palladino for me would have been my first choice option. But look, Spalletti at the end of the day, he's our coach now, so of course I'm going to support him because I support Juventus. For me, the club always stays, regardless of who the coach is, whether I would have appointed him or not, or whether I've been a fan of him in the past, which I haven't been, I'm going to support him. Even if you bring me, I don't know, who's a coach that I don't like? Tony Pulis. His football was dead for Stoke. If you bring me him, I'm going to support him because he's a Juventus coach now. But Spalletti's not comparable to Tony Pulis. I'm not trying to disrespect the guy. They're really not comparable. But look, Spalletti has been appointed. It's official now, so I think he'll take charge really from the Cremonese game onwards. And I want to go over his record in Italy because one thing I will give Spalletti is he is Serie A proven. He has a track record at the big clubs in Italy, bar Napoli, of course, they're a Mickey Mouse club, but Roma and Inter, two big clubs in Italy. Look at this. 16-17 season. Well, this is after he returned from Russia. So 16-17 season, he finished second with Roma, 87 points. 17-18, he was at Inter. Obviously, Di Francesco took Roma on that crazy Champions League run, but he was at Inter, 72 points, fourth place, first Champions League first Champions League season since 2011. 2018-19, Inter 69 points and fourth. And by the way, these two Inter teams were Mickey Mouse teams. I mean, it was literally Icardi and and them, Icardi and co, Icardi and friends. Do you know what I mean? It was like a one-man team. So getting top four, to be honest, I don't really give Spalletti too much credit in that. You guys know me, I'm a big fan of Mauricio Icardi. I rate him so highly. So for me, it was just Icardi was carrying them. He scored like 28, 29 league goals in that period, which is insane. Then he joins Napoli after a couple years without coaching in Italy. Finished third with 79 points in the 21-22 campaign. And then obviously the 22-23 campaign, he got 90 points and he won the Scudetto, which is his biggest achievement in his whole life. He's got it tattooed on his arm. We all know it. And that season there, for me, obviously it was a great Napoli team. They played great football. They won the league. They underachieved massively in Europe, getting knocked out to AC Milan. But it was a bit of one of them Serie A seasons where Inzaghi's Inter just bottled it. We weren't at the races. We were poor that year. AC Milan were a horrible title retention team. It was just really two teams, and Napoli just were light years ahead of everyone else. But Spalletti is one of those coaches who, in all fairness to him, raised the level of that team. He gave them the winning mentality. He got the best out of a lot of players. Obviously, Osimhen that season was incredible. Top scorer. Kvaratskhelia came into the team and really raised his level. But I'm not going to praise Spalletti for Kvaratskelia's success, bro. Come on, man. Kvaratskhelia was destined for greatness. Look at what he's doing now. He was always a super talented player. But at the end of the day, he helped him grow. A young, up-and-coming player. We got Kenan. I'm hoping Kenan Yildiz can sort of be molded in that and he be used at the center, let's say, of this project, which is kind of obvious. It goes without saying. So that's that situation with Spalletti. Now, other important talking points that I want to sort of address is the fact that Spalletti is a very positive manager when it comes to the final third. He's very offensive-minded. We know this. We've seen so many great players flourish in the final third with him. As I said, Kvaratskhelia, Osimhen, Icardi, those kind of players. We didn't really see it too much with the national team, which was a little bit strange, but he's a very offensive-minded manager. What I'm thinking the system will be is a 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1. I think we're going to go straight to a 4-back, which I like. I'm a fan of. I wanted to play a 4-back with the players I had. That was one criticism I had towards Tudor, was he was so consistent with that 5-back and he was so adamant on playing that with Kalulu right wing-back. I'm pretty certain we will not be seeing a 5-back with Spalletti, which I will be a fan of. Then I think we'll see probably like an attacker trident of Kenan, Vlahovic, Conceição most probably, but potentially even Kenan in the 10, a double pivot of Thuram, Coop Miners. The one thing that we might lack almost is Locatelli, because Locatelli and Spalletti, they just didn't go well together for the national team. You'd rarely call up Locatelli when he deserved to be called up. He didn't play for the national team, so it was almost like he had an agenda against him. Will that continue? I don't know, because Locatelli is the captain of Juventus. I'm a fan of Locatelli. I know some Juventus fans criticise him a lot, but I think that's completely unjust. I think this season he's been one of the most consistent performers. And I think almost that we've seen him playing that Regista role, but I don't even think that's his best position. I think as an 8, a bit more advanced is his best role, where we saw him flourish for the national team in 2021 during the Euros and also Sassuolo. But look, we'll see. Time will tell. I would love to see Locatelli start. I think he should start. I think Locatelli to Ram, for me, should be the double pivot, not Coop Miners, not McKennie, not like any of those guys. I also think Miretti could easily be promoted and almost grown a lot and moulded by Spalletti, which I really want to see, of course, because I think he's a super talented young player. I am curious to see how we'll play under Spalletti. I think we'll be more positive, especially in the final third. However, we still need to be strong defensively, because defensively this season we've lacked a lot and we've leaked a lot of chances. We've looked shaky in a lot of games. So Spalletti still needs to address the defence. It's all well and good, the attack. We got the players, I know that. We got the talent there. In the last few games, I think we haven't scored a goal in 4 games, which is obviously annoying, frustrating, of course, because at the start of the season we were scoring goals for fun. We were leaking goals for fun as well, though. So we need to start scoring again, but we also need to remain solid at the back. It'll be interesting to see sort of the personnel he'll pick. I feel like with Spalletti, he's a man that says it as it is. He's a man that's honest, which I think will be important. I think he'll stick to I'd like to think he'll stick to a consistent lineup, like he did with Napoli. You knew the 11 that were playing every single game. If everyone's fit and healthy, these were the 11. It was like guaranteed. And I want to see that Juventus. I don't want to see constant changes, like 4 players start one week, 4 players are dropped the next week. No. We saw that with a national team, but I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, because when it comes to the national team, you barely train with the players. You see them for like 2-3 weeks every 3 months or 2 months. You know, you're barely with them. With a first team squad for a club, you're there day in, day out. So you should establish a starting 11 within the first week or so. Ones that you know these guys are playing every single week, unless they're injured or they're tired or they're ill or there's other external factors affecting it. So I think Spalletti will sort of have to work his way around that. Look, as I said, it wasn't my first choice. I'll be honest with you. But I'm going to support him regardless, because he's the Juventus coach and my team is Juventus. For me, players come and go, managers come and go, but the club always stays the same. Whoever's in that position, whoever's playing, wearing the shirt, I will support and I will back regardless. Will he be successful? It depends what you define successful. For me, frustratingly enough, I don't really want to say these words, but our job this season is to get top 4 again. And it's annoying. It annoys me, it annoys you guys, it annoys the fans. Of course, everyone wants to aim for the Scudetto. We all do. The board members, the manager, the players, everyone at the club, the fans, we all as a collective want to win the Scudetto. We want to challenge for the Scudetto. But right now, we're in a position where that's going to be very tough. You look at the teams ahead of us. You got Napoli, you got Inter, AC Milan. They've been better than us so far this season. Even Roma. Roma, if they win tonight, they go top. They go joint first with Napoli. So these teams have all been better than us. They've already got a point advantage on us. However, if Spalletti comes in, things can happen. Anything can happen. We could potentially be in a Scudetto race. We could go on a crazy winning streak. We don't know. But tonight, or actually not even tonight, because it's 5:30 UK time, 6:30 Italian time, EU time actually, we're playing against Udinese. Spalletti's not going to be the manager. Brambilla's going to be the manager. But we need a result. We need 3 points. Like nothing less than 3 points. We need to win. We need to be in good form by the time Spalletti takes over for the Cremonese game, which I believe is, I want to say Monday, but I need to check. And Udinese right now is a head-to-head because we're tied on points. So we need to climb the table. Do you understand? We need to climb the table and hope the teams above us drop points. The Como, the Inters, whatever. We need to hope. But look, for me, Spalletti, he's Serie A proven, he's experienced, he plays positive attacking football. There are positives to this. Only thing that I'm a bit wary of is his recent form with Italy. There was a lot of confusion around his squad selection and his team selection, as I said, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because that is national team football where you rarely see the players. So you don't really get to know them. You don't really get to almost create an ambience, a familial ambience, you know, with the players, the staff, etc., etc. And it's a delicate moment for Italian football history in general. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt there. But look, it's confirmed. I don't know what his wage is going to be. I don't think it's going to be too high. But I do like the structure of the deal. That is something that surprised me very much so. I didn't think he would accept a 1-year deal with an option to extend based on certain sort of, goals reached. Fabrizio, as I said at the start, said it was an option to extend if we get Champions League football. It could be an obligation. I don't know. But I read option. Option to me is like Juventus sit down in the summer and be like, okay, we got Champions League football, but we don't want to extend you or we do want to extend you. That's an option. You choose. You have a say in it. You have free will. Obligation is you don't. It's signed off. If you get top 4 or top 5, whatever it may be this season, probably top 4, we have to keep you. Because I think for the summer, it's like, if it works out with Spalletti, cool, keep him. If it doesn't, move on, bang. Money saved, move on, find a manager. Because next summer, I'll tell you who's available, who I want. Obviously, if Spalletti doesn't do well, Didier Deschamps from the French national team. Knows the Juventus ambience. Already coached us. Captain, leader, legend. Won and was successful with the French national team. I would love to see Deschamps at Juventus, 100%. But obviously, we will see if Spalletti is successful, if he wins the league, which he could, let's be real. Still possible mathematically. There'd be no reason to change coach. But it'll be interesting to see. Anyway, Luciano Spalletti is the new Juventus coach. I will be supporting, regardless, as you guys should. Even if you didn't want Spalletti, we need to support, we need to back, we need to get behind the team. Because right now, it's a delicate moment, and we need to get certain achievements. We need to get top 4. We need to try and push for the Scudetto. We need to go to the Champions League knockout stage. I believe in Spalletti. Come on. Forza Juve. Guys, later today, watch along for Juventus Udinese. Make sure you're there. Match reaction to Juventus Udinese. Make sure you're there. We're going to win. I have no doubt in my mind. I'll see you in the next one, but let me know in the comment section, boys. What do you think about Spalletti? Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're so close to 10k subs. Like the video, share it to some friends, and goodbye.